Welcome to Healed, Whole, and Forever Growing, the Growth Code. Well, I'm finally in front of the camera after a gazillion recordings. So, welcome. We made it. I made it to you. So, the biggest thing for me for this is that this is not about me. Oh my God. So, my name is Agua, and this has been a trying time for me to do this, just because I've been in my head. And you see people when they attempt to record, and it looks like it was just perfect. But how many takes did it a compilation of to make that perfect? You never know. So here I go. My name's Agua, and welcome to Healed, Whole, and Forever Growing, the Growth Code. And I'm going to stop right there and reboot. All right. So, welcome to Healed, Whole, and Forever Growing, the Growth Code. My name's Agua, and the whole purpose of this journey for me is once it's out there in the internet world, it's there forever. So, I hope that my story of my life and journey is to help someone. And so, with my life's journey of healed, whole, and forever growing, the growth code, the first part is the foundation. The foundation is the very beginning, the basis of everything in your life. And God has always been a part of my life. Um, at the beginning, you don't have a choice of what religion or anything like that. Whatever your parents are in, that's what you're in. And so my foundation is I grew up Muslim. And there's a backstory to that. And we'll eventually get into that one as well. But so I grew up Muslim, and the foundation is childhood and traumas, relationships, connections, things of that nature. So for me, my first childhood trauma that I can remember and I can recall, and that's what this first episode is going to be about. And so let's go. So, my foundation started with, I believe I was about 10 years old. So, from 10 up until 15, let's take that time frame right there, 10 to 15. So, from 10 to 15, you know, those are years that I don't remember due to my trauma. So, what happened is during that time and era, we used to, the adults used to throw block parties. And that's where you would uh, get a permit and shut down from one end of the neighborhood in the street to the other end where no cars or anything could pass. And they would play music, and you would, you know, have community and hang out with family and friends. And they would do like talent shows, and someone would have food, or most people would have food, but everyone on that block would be about that block party. And so for me, uh, The song out at the time was by the Pointer Sisters. I think it was called Jump for Your Love or something like that. And so me and a couple of other classmates, they knew that we had talent. So what they did is they said, "Hey, we want you guys to," as adults, they didn't tell us, they didn't say, "Hey, what we want you to do, you're doing this," from that era. And so they dressed us up in lingerie. And we're kids, you know, 10. And they dressed us up in lingerie, all girls, and they dressed us up in lingerie. And I was the girl that was like, "This is not right. I don't want to dress in whatever this is. I didn't like it. I knew it just felt wrong." And, I pushed back. But as a kid, you don't have a say so in that. And you don't have a voice or a say so. You're seen and not heard type of thing from that time frame. And so, therefore, didn't like it. Me and the other kids that I went to school with, we all got dressed in the lingerie, grown women lingerie, and they dressed us in that. We went out on the street and we did the song "Jump for My Love, Jumping." That's all I remember from it. But so that was a song, and we did it. Um, remember all these people staring at us, and I'm sure none of us felt comfortable with the scenario, the situation. But what do you do? So we did it. It was over with. Now that was a Friday. The next day, Saturday, all I wanted to do was wake up and watch Saturday morning cartoons. Um, there was various different cartoons I watched, but the cartoon that I wanted to see that morning was Smurfs. La 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 la. So that was the Smurfs, and in case you didn't know, um, so I wake up and I all I want is some cereal, and of course I'm not allowed to get the cereal and the milk in the cabinet and things of that nature. So I go in and I go to the door of my brother's room and I say, "Hey, can you fix me some cereal so I can watch the Smurfs?" And he says, "Okay, come here. First, let me show you something." And so I didn't go to him, and as I'm standing there in the door, and so he gets up out the bed and he comes to the doorway and he says, "Come here, sit down on my bed." And he said, "Sit here." So I sit. And he says, "Okay, so," and I have a little nightgown on or whatever it was. And he says, "Lay down." And he's a half brother, by the way. And he says, "Lay down." And so I lay down because I'm not knowing. I'm an innocent kid, an innocent child. And so I lay down, and then he attempts to touch me and things of that nature. And I knew it wasn't right. And there was really nothing I could do. So he proceeded to touch me, um, take off my gown, and I apologize. I didn't do a warning before this. Um, takes my gown off and proceeds to rape me. And it's weird because it wasn't as an adult, like seeing the movies, it's a rough thing or thing like that. It wasn't anything rough. It was something that in my mind, as it was happening, it was more like puzzling, like, what is going on? Why is this happening? This is not right. And so at that point, the damage was done. And, it was done, it was over with. So from 10 until 15, I don't remember because of that one particular story of trauma. And so now what happens after that, we fast forward to the next day. My mom needs to go grocery shopping, so she goes to my sister's house. My sister's now passed away, rest her soul. And we go to her house. So now I'm confused, I'm hurt, I'm angry, I'm closed off, uh, quiet, don't want to be touched, don't want to be looked at, don't want to be bothered. So I didn't want to wear dresses anymore. I didn't want to wear cute clothes. I didn't want to be seen. So I figured if I wasn't seen as whatever was appealing to men, then I'd be okay if you couldn't see me, you know. And so that was my thought process on that. So my mom goes to the store with my sister. She leaves us with this guy that my sister was dating at the time. I don't remember his real government name, but Beaumont Bim is what they called him. And Beaumont Bim, if you're alive today and you're hearing this, I forgave you a long time ago because I had to move on. Hopefully you get some help in Jesus' name that you do. And hopefully you didn't touch any other lives and ruin those. But if you did, I pray for them as well to become healed, whole, and forever growing and find their growth code. Maybe this is it. Maybe this is for them. Because as we intertwine our timelines with Beaumont Bim, it's me, my niece, and her two brothers. RP nephew, one of you. And they go to the store and they leave us with this guy. And this guy, not even, they hadn't even been gone 5 minutes in a sense. And he says, hey, it was a weird house too, because this house was across the street from Dunbar Elementary. Dunbar, Dunbar. Dunbar Elementary is no longer Dunbar. I think it's MLK now. And there was some houses right across the street, some white houses, little sharpshooters, I guess I'll call them. And they were all, one was fenced in, and the other one, there's like two or three or four of them in a row. And so my sister lived in one of those at the time. And so what happened is, after they go to the grocery store, he proceeds to call my niece in there first. And so what happens is he calls her in there. And this, whatever was going to happen, had happened before, because my nephew, he, or one of her brothers, he decides to fight this man as a kid. But we're still kids. We're small in stature. We're innocent. We're sponges. And so he attempts to fight this grown man, Beaumont Bim. And, of course he could not outmuscle this man. And he proceeds to take my niece in there, and he fights my nephew as he's bringing the niece into the room, and he brings her in there and does whatever he does, pushes my nephew down, and then threatens him so he doesn't move, and then he does what he does with my niece, trauma, more trauma, and then the next, he opens the door, she walks out. I'm sure she's confused, hurt, traumatized, just all things, and things that we didn't know how to explain back then. We just knew it wasn't right. And so And then the one that tried to fight, he he uh he goes in next and proceeds to do whatever he's going to do to that particular boy now, right? And we're just kids and we're kind of collective, like what in the world is going on? Um, and then, but we knew it wasn't right. And then next, the other nephew, he brings that nephew in there, does whatever he does. That nephew puts up a fight as well. And once again, it's a grown man. It wasn't nothing any of us could do. So he does what he does to that particular uh, boy. And so now that boy goes out of the room. Now me. My mom has me dressed in some short shorts, you know, button button fly, 3, 4 buttons all the way up, and a little muscle T-shirt. It was red and a little tank top. It was um, striped, red, white, and blue, something like that. And that's what I had on, and probably some jelly sandals. That was the thing back in the day. And so what happened is he proceeds to go and bring me to the back room now. And so as he gets me back there, I'm sure I put up a struggle or a fight, but he couldn't get my buttons undone. So with him not being able to get the buttons undone, as he's attempting to undo my buttons, then my mom and my sister pull back up. They're coming in the house, and so he has me rush out of the room or whatever. So now all those kids, that's 4 kids, 2 boys, 2 girls, that are now traumatized. And like I said, that wasn't the first time it happened to them. That was the first time that little mediocre thing happened to me. Now, just prior, don't forget what just happened to me prior to that. So that's a few. Look what just happened to that bloodline. And we're innocent. And it had happened multiple times before with them, just by their responses and reaction. So they bring in the groceries. My mom sits and talks to my sister for a little bit, whatever. Then after that, we leave. So now I'm telling my mom on the way home, guess what just happened? So now I'm telling her 2 traumas. The first about my brother, and the second about Beaumont Bim. And my brother, RIP to you. I've forgiven you a long time ago. Um, you, God knows that and knows how that came about. But unfortunately, that's my foundation. And the reason why I'm able to be a part of the Healed, Whole, and Forever Growing, the Growth Code, is because it's God. It's it's therapy. It's choosing your joy. And my church home is beautiful. I love the Potter's House Fort Worth, and community and love and faith and hope, the Bible, um, being intentional, your health, your mental and physical health, all those things, they all tie into one. And thank you for your time. And I pray that just knowing that there is a heal, whole, and forever growing, the growth code, are the things that you have to do and be intentional in life to make sure that you become the best version of yourself. And how you do that is being in community, being in family, and being part of God's community in the focus, and know that you are loved, you are seen. And it does take time, and it's going to take a lot of time. It's going to hurt, those moments of therapy where you have to unpack and repack. Shout out to Live Life Counseling, and unpack and repack. And as you unpack and repack, you'll know that that wasn't your fault. And God's there for you and He loves you. And you know how they say, you've always heard that line, God doesn't put no more on you than you can bear. That is not in the Bible. Fact check me. It's not in the Bible. So we're not supposed to endure pain and suffering when it comes to self inflicting. Acknowledge your pain, acknowledge your hurts, acknowledge those things, and then after you acknowledge them, do the work, because there's a whole lot more, many more episodes I can and I'm going to share with you about this healing journey. So now, because where I am now, I'm healed, whole, and forever growing, the growth code, but that was my foundation. And I'm able to sit here and tell you today about that foundation. And I know you hear the inflection in my voice and things of that nature, but it's because I'm blessed. I'm healed. I'm whole. I am forever growing. It's a part of the growth code. And so, as long as you do the work, it's going to be hard. But as long as you do the work, you will be healed, whole, and forever growing. So be a part of the community in this growth that we have to go through. You have to go through the growth code. You have to go through the healing, being whole, forever growing, wanting to be forever growing. And that's a part of the growth code. All of what intertwines with this is heal, whole, and forever growing. The growth code. The smile and the inflection in the voice, that's because I have joy. And I choose joy. And it's a part of being healed, whole, and forever growing. The growth code. This has been Agua, and I forgive you is one of the most easiest things that you can do, but it has to start in here once you get to that point. It's not easy, but it can be easier as you are intentional about every moment. So, once again, I thank you for your time. This is my first episode of Heal, Whole, and Forever Growing, the Growth Code. And my name's Agua, and I love you, and God loves you. Be blessed. Until next time. Love you. Bye.